Director of the Swami Abhedananda Cultural Center, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Mr. Rajish Lutchman, Revered Swami Abhedananda. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our 13th episode of the program Aarshdhara. This is an online series of interaction on scriptures composed by ancient sages of India. Today's interactions are on Chāndogyopaniṣad. Ladies and gentlemen, now allow me to invite Sri Rajish Lutchman ji for the introductory remarks. Over to you, sir.
सभी को हमारा सादर प्रणाम on behalf of the Hindi Siksha Sangh and as well, of course, the Swami Abhedananda Cultural Center. We want to welcome all of you to this wonderful program. Aarshdhara is a series. We've now covered 13 series where we are unpacking the Upanishads and other scriptures of the Hindu faith in a way that makes it easy for people, the ordinary lay person, to understand, to utilize in the day-to-day living. We are deeply grateful to Swamiji, who's Swami Abhedananda ji from the Chinmaya Mission, who's our guest speaker today. Swamiji, आपका आभार हूँ और उम्मीद है कि आज की कार्यक्रम भी सफल हो जैसा हमारा पिछले 12 कार्यक्रम थे. We all know Swamiji has an amazing insight on so many facets of Hinduism, and I'm sure that by the end of this session, many of the questions that we have about the Chāndogyopaniṣad would be answered and cleared. And thank you very much for joining us.
Dhanyavad Rajesh Lutchman ji. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to invite our special guest of today, Revered Swami Abhedananda ji, a spiritual head of Chinmaya Mission of South Africa. He'll be having interactions with Sri Rajish Lutchman ji, a COO of Hinduvani radio station. As I said earlier, and that today our interactions are on Chāndogyopaniṣad. Over to you, Rajesh ji, for commencement of the interaction.
Perhaps before we start, it'll be, I think, only proper for us to have some opening comments by Swamiji. Swamiji?
First of all, I'd like to invoke the grace of God and have brought us on this platform. In life, we have less opportunity to think about God, about scriptures, something where we don't think about our own loss and gain, but we think about bandhan and moksha, or we think about something which is beyond the world. So, thank to that Almighty Lord. And secondly, I want to compliment you all who have been organizing such a beautiful program. And, you know, Tulsidas ji says in Ramcharitmanas, Dhanya so ghari jab satsanga. So it's a kind of satsang that you all have organized. And it's a matter of, I can say, a rare coincidence that in the place like South Africa, we are talking about Upanishads and we are talking about the truth also, and credit goes to you all who have been instrumental in organizing. हमारा आप लोग को बहुत-बहुत प्रेम और हमारा आपको बहुत-बहुत बधाई, राजेश जी, और everybody here. So we can move ahead.
जी हाँ, धन्यवाद Swamiji. So Swamiji, before we proceed with the prescribed questions, and because we have somebody like you on the call today, perhaps we look at all the Upanishads. Perhaps you could very briefly talk to us of the value that these Upanishads have on modern day, आधुनिक समाचार के लिए उसका क्या असर होगा अगर हम इस ज्ञान को प्राप्त कर सकेंगे?
Shall I talk in English only?
जी हाँ, English is fine.
English or Hindi?
Can mix it up both, Swamiji.
Okay. So, देखिए ऐसा है, the point is, ordinary person is a situationist. उसको लगता है कि हमारा समाधान परिस्थिति में है और कोई भी परिस्थिति बहुत बदल नहीं सकती. You cannot change a situation after a time being. Every situation says I will not change. Everybody's life, some things are fixed. And a sadness is nothing but you want to change something which cannot be changed. And when we try to change, and anybody is troubled because of some person only, because that person is not changing and I want that person to change. Some situation is not changing and I want the situation to change. And here is where we have to grow slightly. What we cannot change, we have to go to the changeless to see the change and not be a part of the change. When we are a part of the change, we are sad. When we go to the changeless, we are happy. So Upanishad is journey from the change to the changeless. It is not that we cannot find any solution if we say I'm a part of the problem only. So Upanishad is saying don't be a part of the problem and find the solution. If you want to be the solution, we should not be a part of the world to find a solution. Moment I say I am the problem, after that I already have made the problem the reality. So here is where Upanishad comes into picture. Upanishad is not something which has nothing to do with our life. So up, ni plus shad. Sad dhatu is there in this. So sad refers to knowledge, and this knowledge which is weakener, which is destroyer, and which is reacher. So that knowledge which, and up and ni, these two words describe the student, and sad describes the knowledge. So that knowledge which weakens our prarabdha, that knowledge which destroys our sanchit karma, and that knowledge which takes us to the ultimate truth. So we are not, when we live the life, the problem is we are living the life. The big problem is there. Instead of seeing the life as such, we live the life without seeing the life. When we live without knowing, all problem will be there. Supposing I am handling the Zoom, I don't know how to handle also, and I don't know, then problem will be there. Everywhere problem is of ignorance. There is no real problem. Problem is because I don't know something. I am driving, I don't know. I am angry, I don't know how to handle my anger. I am living with my mind, I don't know handle my emotions. I am sleeping, I don't know how to get on time. I am living with people, I don't know how to handle expectation. I live with somebody who is not fulfilling my expectation, I don't know how to handle the expectation. Everywhere there is a problem of not knowing actually. Situation is not a problem. Problem is I don't know how to deal with a certain aspect of the situation. Sorrow is nothing but some kind of ignorance is called sorrow. Sorrow is not an objective thing. Sorrow is a subjective misapprehension. And here is where Upanishad come into picture, where they tell us, okay, I'll tell you the knowledge so that you are not sad about any issue. Upanishad is the knowledge which makes us free, which makes us realize that how free we are, how beautiful is our own self. Upanishad is not in the books. Upanishad is in thought. Upanishad is in the thought of the purity of the Brahma Vidya. So this is in short about the Upanishad, which takes us from, which is a weakener, which is a reacher, and which is a destroyer. These three things Upanishad does. Upani describes the student, and Shad describes the knowledge. So life is very beautiful if we know why I am and who am I. And if it is very ugly and very disturbing if we don't know who am I and what am I.
Of course.
So this is a very, very in brief I am just mentioning. And then as I go in progress in our talk, I'll describe more.
So Swamiji, thank you so much for that amazing introduction. Let's go now to the Chāndogyopaniṣad. What in your opinion is unique or special about the Chāndogyopaniṣad?
See, there is, all Upanishads are telling about the same thing. And for the knowledge of the truth, only even the one Upanishad is sufficient. Whether it is Kyonopanishad, Katho, or Ishavasya Upanishad is sufficient. But main thing what I want to emphasize, I'm not going into too much technical details because my time is very less. I'd like to go into technical details in Chāndogya. It's a beautiful Upanishad. But my point on this platform is that instead of finding out the object of sorrow, let us realize that where is sorrow experienced? Anything exists where it is experienced. This is what Upanishad says. Upanishad says that if you are experiencing sorrow in the mind, the sorrow must be in the mind. And if you are experiencing sorrow in the mind, and mind is experienced in the self, so the sorrow is in some kind of ignorance about the self only. Upanishad comes to tell us that you are not sad entity. You are not an entity who is suffering, you are not related to any kind of smallness in this world. And Chāndogyopaniṣad tells there are, in Talavkar Shakha is there in Samved. Among all the 4 Veds, this is from Samved. And Talavkar Shakha, this is from 1st to 10th chapter is this. And from 3rd to 10th chapter is Chāndogyopaniṣad, which has 8 chapters. In that 8th chapter, 5 chapters is on Upasana. And from 6th, 7th, 8th, 3 chapter is on Upanishad strictly. The beautiful point of life is that I should be in charge of the life. And being in charge of the life means that I am the one who is at the driver's seat. And the driver's seat is that any experiences that I have mastery over experiences. What I don't want to experience, I don't experience. When I am the slave of experiences, then that is called I'm a worldly person. Where Chāndogyopaniṣad comes into picture, there are 3 important chapters, 6th, 7th, and 8th in Chāndogyopaniṣad. And in these 3 chapters, the greatest knowledge is told. And the uniqueness of Chāndogyopaniṣad is that the Mahavakya, the Tattvamasi Mahavakya is there in the 6th chapter. And it is called Sadvidya. 6th chapter, 7th chapter, and 8th chapter. So one is called Sadvidya, other is called Bhuman Vidya, and third is called Dahar Vidya. These 3 chapters are the core of the Chāndogyopaniṣad. But main thing, without going into too much intricacies, in the 6th chapter of Chāndogyopaniṣad, it is said, Sadev Swamidam Agre Asit, that is a very popular statement and which is very much known in the Upanishads, in all the Vedantic, and very much quoted by Bhagwan Shankaracharya. See, the word Chāndogya has come from Chanda. Chand means the Vedic mantras are there. One who sings, that is called Chāndogaha. Chandaha Gayati. Iti Chāndogaha. So one who is singing this chand is called Chāndogaha. And the Upanishads of this, and the singing means they sing in Swar and Tal. The Rigved mantras cannot be sung, Yajurved mantras cannot be sung, but the Samved mantras can be sung. And therefore it is called Chāndogaha. One who sings those chand is called Chāndogaha. And Chāndoganam iti Chāndogyam. So what is the Upanishad of the Chāndogaha? Of those, that is called Chāndogya. But uniqueness of Chāndogyopaniṣad, I'll tell you, is it's a Sadvidya. Sadvidya means only truth alone was there in the beginning, and therefore still it is there. And 9 times this has been said in that. But the main point where I want to emphasize is that in life is beautiful only when I have mastery over what I don't want to experience, I don't experience. And nobody wants to experience fear. Nobody wants to experience sorrow. But we experience it. We don't want to experience fear, but we experience. We don't want to experience anger, but we experience anger. We don't want to experience pain, but we experience pain. And Upanishad comes to detach us from our wrong experience. Where Chāndogya Upanishad comes into picture, it says that you are that experiencer, which is beyond all experiences. You better see the experiences as coming and going. You are that changeless experiencer in which all experiences are like the shadows. And this is where uniqueness of Upanishad comes into picture. And that experiencer in Chāndogya is mentioned as Sat. And Sat is mentioned as Ekamev Advitiyam. So beautiful point of our life is that when we live as experienced and we don't know the changeless experiencer, then we suffer a lot. When we become a part of experiences, then we are a slave of the world. But when we are the seer of all experiences, then we are the master of the world. Upanishads come to tell us how to be such that you live as a changeless substratum, not being a part of the change. Don't be a part of the movie. Try to see the movie. That is the main thing in this life. The Upanishads are not something very different and difficult. The crux of the Upanishad is that I am the one who does not die, who is not born, who is not the body with the soul, who is not the one who is a part of any family, who is not the one who is a part of a cosmos, who is not the one who is sad and happy. He is the one in whom even the world comes and goes, even the Srishti and Pralaya, the dissolution and the creation comes and goes, and he remains the one unimmutable, changeless entity, and that is called the Brahman, and that is called Sat in Chāndogya 6th chapter. And that is called Bhuman in 7th chapter, and that is called Brahman in 8th chapter of Chāndogyopaniṣad. Life is beautiful only when we know that here I don't belong to somebody. Moment I become small, life becomes difficult. The 7th chapter of Chāndogyopaniṣad, 6th chapter is on Sat, 7th chapter is on Bhuman. And the description in 6th chapter is between Shwet Ketu and his father called Aruni.
So getting back to Chāndogya Upanishad, Swamiji, the recitation of Vedic mantras and of course mantras from the Upanishad is always enlightening, it's always to a large extent it inspires us. Perhaps we could ask you to kindly recite a few verses, would be really appreciated, and of course explain them.
See, the most popular verse and most popular shlok open that is there are 2-3 Sadev Samvidam Agre Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam. So it is more about explanation. See, I mentioned one point. 6th chapter talks about Sat Vidya, 7th chapter talks about Bhuman Vidya. Bhuman, and both are very, very beautiful. I had a camp in CIF in Kerala, and I took this, and it took around 21 classes. It took for one chapter. I will just give in a small detail, a small point I will mention. Just open the 6th chapter. See, I will just mention 1-2 points. 6th chapter tells that try to be the changeless and not be a part of the change. Moment you become part of any change, you are subject to all problems. Problem is nothing, but problem is when I am identified to some kind of change, and then being a change, you cannot sort a problem. Sorting a problem means that I have to be away and see the changeless, and then you solve problem. I can see you when I'm at distance with you. When I become very close to the world, I become close to my life, I become close to my body, I become close to my family, then we are a part of a problem, and I can tell you I'll be sad after that, because I have already defined I'm a part of my change. This Upanishad says, don't be part of any change. This is the 6th chapter of Upanishad in short. Be the changeless and immutable principle there. Sadev Swamidam Agre Asid Ekam Eva Dvitiyam. This is said in Chāndogya. Tad Ekam Eva Dvitiyam. And Tasmat Asatah Sajjayata Kutastu Khalu Saumya Evam Syaditi Hovacha Katam Asatah Sajjayati Iti Satveva Saumya Idam Agre Asid Ekam Eva Dvitiyam. So the point is that the beautiful point of this Upanishad is that don't live the life. Let the life be without living. I mean, I'm sounding a little illogical, but I'm telling you one thing. We try to live the life, and we are in the verb. Living is a verb. From living come to life. Let the living be seen by the life. I am the life who is seeing the living. This is the Upanishadic portion. When I am a living only, I'll be walking, talking, thinking, and I'm doing. When I'm doing, then I'm a part of somebody else's life. Moment you become a part of somebody else's life, you lose the freedom in life. All joy is in freedom only. And freedom is in being that truth, the essence, through which I can see everything from a distance and enjoy. I enjoy sunrise because I'm far distant. Moment you become close to sun, you will get burnt. I enjoy moon because I'm distant from the moon. I can enjoy the ocean because I'm distant. Moment I go close to the ocean will drown us. As much ocean is nice to see from a distance, so much closely it will drown us. As much, ship seeing from a distance go close, we go and destroy ourselves. To enjoy anything, let us be at little safe distance. Moment our family, I tell you, Rajesh, you must be also knowing, you are also in the family. Moment you become too close to any issue in the family becomes a problem. Am I right? No? Say yes. So
You lose your sense of objectivity.
Yeah, that is a point. I mean, anything to solve. If the doctor has to solve a problem, he should not be a patient. Or he should not be relative, very close to the patient. Patient will cry, patient will be laughing, and he has to see his crying and laughter and treat the patient. It is not that he should become a part of patient and then try to solve a problem. Whole world is just coming and going. Whole Srishti comes, whole Pralaya comes, dissolution comes. I am not a part of Srishti, I am not a part of dissolution. I am just an onlooker, I am a watcher. I am not a catcher. Moment I become catcher, then I'll be caught. Moment I am a watcher, there is no problem at all. I don't go in the world to lose and gain. I don't go in the world to get clapping and slapping. I go in the world to enjoy. From a distance I see it. I as a truth, as one Sat. This is the 6th chapter of Chāndogyopaniṣad. 7th chapter I'll just mention and then you can ask. 7th chapter of Chāndogyopaniṣad is that Yovai Bhuma Tat Sukham Nalpe Sukham Asti. This is a very famous line of Chāndogyopaniṣad, that Na Alpe Sukham Asti. There is no joy in something small. Joy is only the nature of the biggest. What is Anantam alone is Anandam. Anything small is not joy. That is called Avidyatmak Sukh, other is called Sarupatmak Sukh. So when Vasana is there, you are superimposing joy in the cigarette, or somebody is superimposing joy in the food, somebody is superimposing joy in the children. Superimposed joy is called small joy because you don't know superimposition goes away at any time. It is a false makeup. A small rain is required and makeup is gone. Little sweating comes and makeup is gone. Or if you dye the hair, so after a few days, the dye also fades away. Am I right, no, Sarah? So this this world is like that. I mean, outer things, outer makeup doesn't have long life. False joys don't have long life. The joy in the food doesn't have a long life. The joy in the children doesn't have a long life, because all these things are small. It is superimposed. Because you fulfill my desire, therefore I like you. Tomorrow, if you don't fulfill my desire, I won't like you. That should not be there. Therefore, Upanishad says, Yo vai bhuma tat sukham. What is the biggest? That alone is of the nature of joy. And the biggest is the Paramatma, the biggest is the God, the biggest is the self, the biggest is the Brahman, whatever name we can give. So that which is not objectifiable, that is called God. That which cannot be defined by this and this, that is called God. And that is where the joy is there. Joy is not situational, joy is not mental, but joy is essential nature of our own self. And this is the 7th chapter, what has been mentioned in 7th chapter. I'm just
Thank you
trying to
very
give
much.
you in one line, 2 lines.
Ji. Thank you very much for the wisdom, Swamiji. Swamiji, how different or how does this resonate with the theories of attachment and non-attachment as described by the Srimad Bhagavad Gita?
Very much, very nice question you have asked. See, attachment, let us define attachment first. Attachment is sense of strong joy in something else other than me. Attachment is I give something very small, I feel it is very complete. I have superimposed my personal joy. It's my personal vision. Supposing I am attached to this watch, you are not seeing joy as I am seeing joy. I am seeing joy in this joy, and attachment can be on some foolish thing also. It can be on a small dog also. It can be on my cloth also. And for what is a laughing matter for you, it may be a very serious matter for you. On a what person suffers from something, other person laughs that he is suffering on such a small issue. So attachment is nothing but is a false sense of superimposed completeness and superimposed happiness which is not existing at all. And this is what Chāndogya says. Attachment is on something non-existing, and the truth is something which is existing. But what is not existing, why waste on time your that? Why waste your time on that issue? Rather try to see what is the truth. If the world is there, family is there, people are there, let us do it as a worship of the God and convert the attachment to surrender. In attachment, I want to hold it for my personal self. In surrender, I give it to everybody. In attachment, I feel joy should be mine. In surrendering, I say joy should be for everybody. In attachment, I'm bothered about my personal importance, and in surrender, I want to give importance to everybody. In attachment, I feel lost without object. In surrender, I feel more complete after giving up that object. So the spiritual path is a journey from this attachment to the surrender and to the truth ultimate.
Thank you for that, Swamiji. But the difficulty is for imperfect souls like us. How do we grasp these wonderful phenomena and apply them in our lives? You spoke about surrender, and you have to understand, for the normal grihasti or a normal person who has not that kind of spiritual elevation that one would like, it is something difficult to grasp. So how do you advise that the ordinary man was able to embrace this philosophy?
See, ordinary man alone needs it. And the best thing I'll tell you, Rajesh, is our daily experiences are there. Daily experiences. You also have lived such a rich life. You had a vast amount of experiences living in the world. I also have lived, others also have lived. I only say one thing. Let us test our experiences. Did the world fulfill what I really wanted? Was world expectation fulfilling center? It is a perceptual error. Because I am grahast doesn't mean I have the liberty of being sad. Grahast, I have to be more careful. When the waves are more rough, I should be knowing swimming better. So we are living in a rough tide all the time. And therefore the simple thing I will suggest, or I will just mention to you, that let us go out in the world to give joy and not to take joy. and keep on saying day and night, I don't want anything from anybody. Whatever I want, God will give me. I want to give love. I want to give seva. I want to give fulfillment at the cost of getting nothing objective. Moment we want an object, we become object of somebody's foolishness. Sometimes we suffer because somebody else's behavior is not good towards us. I have become object. I have become toy of somebody's life. Let us not live as a toy of somebody's life. Because I'm attached, and now he is making me go up and down. I'm a father, and now my son is making me suffer. I'm a husband, now wife is making me suffer. I'm a wife, therefore husband is making me suffer. No, this is not the way out. I'm coming to give joy. I don't expect. Moment I want from you, I've given the veto power to you. I don't want from you anything. You are sitting in front of me. I'm sitting in front of you. You are also smiling. I'm also smiling because you don't want anything from me. And I also don't want anything from you. We both have healthy relation. And therefore it is fine. After 5 minutes, our talk is over. You go everywhere. I go my way. You go your way. So problem is not in living in a family life. Problem is in our expectation. Problem is on our unreasonable demands. I am not lovable, but I want you should love me. I want you should obey me. Why should you obey me? Why should I obey somebody? When we become unreasonable, then our life is difficult. It is not possible. Let us not do something which is impossible. What kind of, I can't understand that people perform pujas or people go for rituals or people do havan, etc. And they are sad. At the end of the day, I want joy. I want peace. I want fulfillment. I want smile. I want laughter. I want glee. I want fulfillment. I want to be under the sunshine. I should become that. But I am sad, not because anybody made me sad, but I was available to be sad. And moment I want, another name of Chah is Ah. Actually, I tell you, Brahma ji created this Ah. Ah means in Hindi, Ah means takleef, dukh ho gaya. Ah was there. So Ah was a girl. So Brahma ji sent everywhere. Go and search from a boy for yourself. Who will marry Ah? Ah means dikkat hai, problem hai.
Yeah.
So she said nobody is marrying. So Brahma ji put one cap of Cha. So it became Chah. So so Ah became Chah. So now everybody has Chah. पुत्र की चाह है, बेटे की चाह है, बेटी की चाह है, पैसे की चाह है. उस चाह के अंदर आ है एक्चुअली. It is not चाह, it is आना. अगर हमें enjoy करना है, if really I want to live in the world, only way is that I don't want anything. I am only wanting the God. I want to give you joy. I want to give you love, and I'm untouched about you. It is I'm playing within the world. I'm not a football. I'm going out to play with the football called Prarabdha. I'm not a part of anybody's game in my life. This is what Upanishad says in this 7th chapter and 8th chapter also. And this is how Grahas should live. I say RDC, we should reaction, demand, complaint. If 3 things Grahas can reduce, life will be simpler. And reaction comes because you did not fulfill what I wanted. Demand is there, you fulfill, I want more. And complaint is there because he did not do what he was supposed to do. RTC we remove and life will be full of joy. Whole heaven will come on the earth. The saints are moving swarg. Moving heaven is called a saint. And even in the hell he can bring out a heaven. Because he is the spring. He is the autumn. He is the spring. He is the joy. He is Ganga Jamna Saraswati. And this is what makes the house a home. This is what makes the life a glide into infinite.
Swamiji, I see our time is running out. I wish we could continue, but before we end, This a thought came to me when we were speaking about the issue of objectivity. One of the ways the Chāndogyopaniṣad finds itself now in the modern boardroom is something called conflict of interest. I'm sure you've heard about that, where people need to
Yes.
declare that there's no connected relationship between anybody or anybody they do business with. And the simple reason for that is because you cannot be objective if you are connected. So for me, the resonance here is that the wisdom of the Chāndogya is really amongst us. We just got to grasp it to see where and how it is fitting into our lives. Perhaps you want to comment on that?
See, any conflict is not good. It is not only in life. Our life is full of conflict. First say, I think I want joy at all place, at all, with all, at all time. Then I get attached to you. When I get attached to you, then I say, no, I want joy only in your presence. Firstly, I say, my real desire is, I want joy at all places with all person. Then I get attached to you. Then I say, no, only when you are come, I'll be happy. Without you, I'll be unhappy. This is conflict of interest. Even if you are not in a company, we are a whole life is full of contradiction. I want that you should love me, but I don't give you the love. How can, without giving you the love, I can get love from you? It's a conflict of interest. I am elder in my house. Eldest person should be most tolerant person. I can't tolerate you. I am eldest. How can I be happy? I am young person. I am supposed to give you seva. I don't serve you. I am youngest. And then I want that you should love me. Whole family goes into big conflict and contradiction because they are conflicting themselves. Anywhere tug of war is not good. Let us live as the truth. Let us live as the God's servant. Let us maintain purity of emotion. Let us maintain our dignity of silence. Let us do meditation every day. Let us hear some beautiful satsang. Let us read Upanishads. Let us dive deep into the glory of our Vedas. Let us sit quietly and be of the God. Enjoy life without wanting anything outside. Let us enjoy our own company. Let us be in ourselves and see how beautiful whole world is. Because I'm not wanting anything. Anything becomes difficult when you want something small. Moment you want to do jap, you are most wonderful because nobody can stop you. Have that desire which nobody can take away from you. Don't have that desire which anybody can snatch. You want to meditate, nobody can snatch your desire. If we want to have this, nobody can stop us. But if I want something else, anybody can stop. So this is where we have to stop all conflicts or minimize it. Our life will become much tension free. Tension is the name of pulling from two directions which are opposite. And therefore, one is our soul, other is the world, and which we are trying to pull it from both directions. And therefore, we are tense. Let us live a tensionless and conflictless.
Swamiji, I don't have words to thank you for the incredible wisdom you've shared with us today. Our 40 minutes is almost up, so I want to say thank you so much on behalf of the Hindi Siksha Sangh, Hindwani, as well as the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center. But before we close the session, is there anything that you would like to conclude with, sir?
My conclusions are simple. That let us not live the life which is difficult. We have made our life difficult. You know why our life becomes difficult? Because we don't associate with truth. Anything truthless and godless is helpful. Helpful and not helpful. Godless life is called hellish life. Anything dissociated with truth will always be difficult. Anything dissociated with God will always be full of problems. Money cannot give joy. Family cannot give joy. Good job cannot give joy. Fame cannot give joy. Nice cars cannot give joy. Joy is not in all these things. Beauty is not in makeup. Beauty is in the main person only. So these are all makeup. Makeup is good when beauty already is there. When person is not good looking, what does makeup do? So unless we are good, our mind is good looking. Our mind is beautiful. Then only outside world has any value. Ugly mind dissociated with God will everywhere have problem. Let us come to the Chāndogyopanīṣad. Let us come to the Upanishad. Let us read the Upanishad. Let us think about God. and life will become much more simpler, quieter, beautiful. So my thanks to you, Rajesh ji, and Hindi Siksha Sangh also, Hindwani also, and Vivekananda Society also, and all of you who are putting lot of effort. And I came on this platform just to compliment you all, and as a servant of you all, whatever seva we can do from Chinmay Mission, we are always ready. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to express my thought and love you all. Thank you and Hari Om.
Swamiji, while we're at that, I want to say that your students have been phenomenal in their pravachan when we spoke to them in the previous programs. On behalf of them and on behalf of all our listeners, I want to thank you for preparing such wonderful gems in our community that can carry on with this work. That's wonderful divine work. It's such it's a tribute to your foresight and to your forward thinking that Hindu Dharma, Hindu thought, and the wisdom of our wonderful scriptures would remain in this country. So thank you so much for that as well.
Thank you very much, Rajesh ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Namaste and thank you once more, Swamiji. I hand us over to Sipiweji.
Ladies and gentlemen, our online viewers, that was Swami Abhedananda ji unpacking the Chāndogyopaniṣad this evening. You know, it is always joyful to listen to Swami Abhedananda ji. You know, I always enjoy when I'm listening to his words of wisdom. You know, now he opened another chapter in my understanding about life, about problems, about the challenges that we are facing, that our lives are like the rough wave. So we have to get prepared and we have to fight with that rough wave. So Swamiji, Dhanyavad-ji, thank you very much. And also to Sri Rajish Lutchman ji, COO of Hindivani Radio, Dhanyavad-ji, thank you very much for conducting such a wonderful, interesting program. And today's interactions were on Chāndogyopaniṣad. To Director of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Mr. Piyush Kandelwal, thank you for being with us this evening. And also to our online participants, we like to say Dhanyavad for joining us this evening. For more information on cultural activities organized by Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center in Devon, please visit ICCR in Devon. Once again to Swami Abhedananda ji, Dhanyavad Swami ji, to Rajish Lutchman ji, Dhanyavad sir. To all of you, have a wonderful evening. Namaskar.